Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to episode 10 of TBH with Willie and Jake. To be honest, a show that comes straight from the heart to your ears, or to your heart, whatever. Hey, special episode today, guys. I'm celebrating my 1 year of sobriety. So it's going to be a bit different today. It's basically going to be in two parts. So I'm going to first of all say why I decided to get sober, and then I guess the second part might be intertwined, but second part will be why I'm staying sober. So the reasons why I'm choosing not to drink and partake in any narcotic activity has vastly changed in the last year. And there's a bit of a backstory behind it, which I'll share at the start as well. But before we get into it, we've promised to read out comments from our YouTube page. So our first one was from our episode 8, I Hear Voices, a month ago, and it's from Sandwich Lotion, which reads, "Keep it up, boys. Much love, Flames." So special mate of mine, Flames. Thanks for that comment, bro. And we've got one more from last week's episode with Reese, which was a good episode, guys. If you didn't catch it, head over there and give it a listen. But Matty Camilleri says, Reese needs a regular segment with financial advice. And Reese commented, "Sounds risky, I like it." And that's the catchphrase for all financial advice. So, hey, it's something we've talked about. We might get Reese on more often than not to, give us some financial advice and take us through the world of accounting and all that sort of gear, because frankly, I don't have a fucking clue. Yes, very good. Anyway, guys, so that's it for this week's episode, or will be once I finish talking. That wasn't the episode. Please enjoy. Welcome back, guys. As I said earlier, it's going to be a special episode, all to do with sobriety. Might not be everyone's cup of tea today, but just take out of it, if you're listening, take out the similarities, not the differences, and what I've got to say. There might be something that resonates personally with you. So, yeah, stick around, and I hope you enjoy it. So on the 9th of June last year, 2019, I wasn't in a good place mentally. Emotionally, wasn't very stable. I was drinking heavily. I was using drugs a lot, and it was really starting to affect my life. Like I'd been living this way for the last almost 10 years, pretty much since I turned 18 to 28, 29. I was a heavy user of all things, well, good and nasty, whichever way you want to look at it. But this particular day, I just had been on a huge bender. I was coming back to work. I was about to call in sick, for like the third or fourth time that year, which, is a pretty regular thing if you're a frequent user of, anything really. But, on this particular day, I got a phone call from a workmate, Josh, and I'd just like to shout out, Josh, man, wherever you are now, thank you so much. You've really changed my life. You've shown me, you've shown me a better way to live my life. So, thanks, dude. But, on this particular day, he rang me and needed a lift into work. And me being the type of person doesn't want to let anyone down, I agreed. And I said, stuff it, I'll go into work then. I think I was working the next day, so I was going to recover that night. But, I went and picked him up, and he just took one look at me and said, are you okay? And, I knew I wasn't, but I didn't think it was that obvious to anyone else. And I said, "Nah, man. To be honest, I'm really not. I'm not feeling well. Like I don't feel myself." And so he offered to drive us out to work in my car. And on the way out, he just started talking to me about how he'd been sober for 500 and something days, and it sort of blew my mind, just the way that he carried himself and how confident and happy he looked, and really, really touched my heart what he was saying. And I knew straight away then and there that was the kind of life that I wanted for myself. That's what I'd been chasing this whole time. And So yeah, he sent me a few links and, you know, really sort of coached me in those first few months, which are, you know, arguably the hardest. But yeah, man, he really changed my life. He just showed me a better way to do things. So yeah, man, I'm really thankful for having met him. And you know, it's funny that I thought, you know, my life was going to get easier, you know, after the first few months when everything's real golden and you know, everything's going good. You know, you just automatically think like, oh, this is easy. I've fixed everything now. I'm finished. I'm done. You know, that's you know, game over sort of thing. But it's where the challenges really started off. Was I didn't realize until I'd sort of cut that shit from my life that like how much I was actually missing, and you know, the real journey had just begun. And you know, even now, a year later, there's still days where I want to go buy a carton of beers and write myself off, or you know, go hit that old buddy up to go get wasted. And it doesn't get any easier, but life's boring without that challenge, I find. Like it was easy before. It's easy to go and get, you know, go buy a carton of piss and get fucked up. It's hard to better yourself and to challenge yourself and to want to be a better person every day, and to, you know, to open your heart up to the world, because it's a cruel and nasty world, but it can also be a beautiful one, I find. So, you know, that's where the real challenge sort of starts. So anyway, why did I need to get sober, or, you know, why did I get sober in the first place? I realized I was chasing a real connection, you know, not only with the people around me, but with myself. I needed some clarity. I was sick of not living for anything. You know, like I said, it's easier to, when you don't know what to do, to just write yourself off and numb yourself from the real struggles of the world. And, you know, we all in a way are trying to hide from pain and run from pain instead of accepting it. You know, instead of getting down in the dirt and really gritting your teeth and putting in some hard work. It's like someone who trains in the gym. Like you don't go through all that hard work and pain, you know, to not see results, and you're not going to see results unless, you know, vice versa, unless you put yourself through that pain. You know, I was seeking a connection with myself, and it's so easy to just blind yourself from what's actually going on around you. So that was one reason why I needed to cut that from my life, you know, so my real life could begin. You know, why did I decide to get sober? I was sick of lying. I'd become a compulsive liar, you know, lying to myself ultimately, but to people around me, and especially my family, like, you know, skipping out on family events and just not telling the truth about, you know, what I was doing, and, you know, the kind of life that I'd created for myself. There was kind of two lives, you know, the face that I put on every day for people I knew and loved, and, you know, my friends and family, and then there was the face, I guess, that had become my, you know, my true self, that didn't want to have to deal with that sort of stuff, that just the face you put on to, you know, to not be who you are, you know. And it got to the stage in my life where I felt uncomfortable in my own skin, and I was 28 years old and I didn't know who I was. I didn't feel myself. I didn't know how to feel myself. And you know, this might be something that you haven't even considered before in your life, and you know, maybe it's not for everyone, but I really challenge you to find out who you are. And, you know, if you don't know the answer to that question, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing, you know. I think that's what I had done for so long, was beat myself up, you know, because you always hear that corny line, like, who are you? And, you know, it's not your name, it's not what you've done. It's something deeper than that, and, you know, you can't really put it into words. But now that I know who I am, I'd really found that you know, that he's a good dude. He's got something to offer this world. If you know, you just take away that nasty outer layer that I'd sort of developed, and, you know, not even on purpose, because addiction's not one of those things that happens overnight. It's a slow poison, you know. It's it takes years and years and years. You know, it takes deep roots in your life, but the good thing about those deep roots is that they can still be cut straight away. You know, it doesn't take years and years and years to cut away that, you know, those roots that you've planted. So, you know, 10, 20 years, it doesn't matter how long, you know, you've been living your life, you know, not how you want to do it. You can change it overnight, which is what I did. And, you know, it's a bit of a blur looking back now, but, you know, there's key moments that sort of stand out, and if you can remember why you decided to get sober in the first place, then yeah, you know, you can always, if things start getting hard, you can look back on it, and you can you know, you can start looking forward. You know, there is only looking forward. You know, yeah, we only start to look back when things get hard, and every time I think about, you know, if something's getting too hard and I think, you know, oh, fuck it, I'll just go get a drink, or, you know, fuck it, I'll go get high, I just look back and I go, nah, I can't, that's not what I want to be, that's not who I am. So why did I decide to get sober? I decided to get sober because I had to. You know, I wanted to feel something. I was sick of trying not to feel anything. You know, I'd spent 10 years of trying not to feel anything because it had been too hard. You know, I was sick of looking in the mirror and being, you know, not even disgusted in the person I saw, but I just didn't even recognize the person that I saw in the mirror anymore. You know, that person wasn't me. You know, it had gone beyond disgusted, you know, because you can look in the mirror and be like, oh, you know, I need to change something, but this wasn't even about my appearance. It was about looking into my own eyes and not, you know, just not even recognizing that there was a human being. You know, there was a soul behind those eyes. And I don't regret anything I've done, because I wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for that. I don't know whether the lessons that I would have learnt would be the same, but I guess the point is it's not what I've done, but it's what I do now with my life. And it's sort of something I've been struggling with lately, even a year on. You know, I thought that after a year there'd be this like defining moment where everything just clicks into place, but it's really where the real battle started. And, you know, I've got to dig myself in deeper because the alternatives is not an option anymore. And, you know, it's a big part of self-awareness is, you know, once you sort of wake up, you can't go back to sleep. You can't turn a blind eye to injustice and to, you know, to half-assing your way through life, because it's just, there's no feeling there. There's just that numb feeling that I used to get, you know, getting high and drunk all the time. It's, you know, it's almost a worse feeling than being hungover, than, you know, not living up to your full potential. So I guess that's why I started to do all this sort of stuff. You know, is just an outlet to start being myself, to start living up to my true potential. And don't get me wrong, I'm super proud of what I've done and what I've achieved. And, you know, you speak to any friends and family and they'll say the same thing. You know, the changes I've made in the last year are monumental, but it's just not enough. You know, I want more. So yeah, this is me trying to get more, I guess. You know, trying to help other people. And like I said, if something resonates with you, take it away and, you know, think about it, stew on it. You know, make it a goal. And I'm not trying to get everyone to quit drinking and drugs and that sort of stuff, because I understand why you do it. I know firsthand. I'm just trying to show you alternatives in case you hadn't thought about it, I guess. Why did I get sober? Why did I get sober? It's a hard question, and I get asked it a lot, and my answer sort of changes every time, because, you know, I'm a different person every day. What suited for an answer 12 months ago might not suit as an answer now. So I got sober because I was chasing probably what I touched on earlier. I was chasing that connection. I found out the opposite of addictions, not sobriety. It's all I was chasing was a deeper connection. I was chasing something that I didn't think I could find within myself, I guess. I was too focused on what everyone else was thinking and to really focus on myself. And it's such a cliche thing, but when you start pulling back the curtain on your own life and accepting your deepest, darkest desires and just accepting, you don't have to like it, but you just have to accept that's who I am at this stage in my life. And I've everything leading up to this point is my own fault. It's nobody else's. The hell that you put your parents through is your fault. The lies and deception and the wasted time and the people you've hurt along the way, it's all your fault. And that really struck home for me. And it's something I've been working on the last 12 months, is trying to pay back all the shitty stuff that I've done to everyone. And but at the same time, just accepting that that's what you did. And if it leads you to a good place in your life, then how can you say it was a bad thing? It was just a lesson that you had to learn along the way. Guys, I don't have anything scripted. I'm sort of just speaking off the top of my head or the bottom of my heart, whichever way you want to look at it, I guess. And I think I've sort of touched on why I needed to get sober. So moving forward 12 months, today, the 9th of June, 6 months, in exactly 6 months' time, it'll be my 30th birthday, and that'll be 18 months sober. And I'm super excited to bring in this new decade, and be sober. And I don't know if I'll stay sober for the rest of my life. I've made a point to not look at it that way and not try and see that far into my own future in that regards, because it's too daunting. There's too many what ifs. There's just too many variables. But I just look at it day by day, and if every day I wake up, and if I put my eyes to rest at the end of the day, and I haven't touched a drink, or I haven't gotten high, then that's a win for me. And if I can just do that every day, well, 1 year becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 10, sort of thing. I like to be prepared. I like to be planned. But for stuff like this, for something that I've struggled with for so long, taking it day by day is the only way to sort of do it. And it can be the same with any struggle. Any addiction, anything going on in your life. If you're, it's a great source of anxiety if you're thinking about something that's ultimately out of your control too far in advance. You're gonna become anxious. You're gonna feel uneasy. You're gonna feel out of place. You're gonna hurt yourself, is what I'm trying to say. And I know, because I've spent 10 years, hurting myself, and it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So 12 months on, why am I staying sober? I kind of touched on it before. The real challenge sort of began when I cut away that dead branch, that habit in my life that wasn't getting me anywhere. I was done with it. There was nothing for me to gain from not being myself, not being clear, not having that clarity. I'm not the most smoothest person at the best of times. So I want to be at my best at all times. I want to be ready for anything. I want to be ready for that phone call in the middle of the night where a friend of mine's been hurt, but what if I'm too drunk to drive, or what if I'm sleeping off a huge bender, or what if. But if I'm sober, then I'm there. I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for anything that life can throw at me. And that was sort of a revelation to me now, is that I am ready for anything that life can throw at me. And it's probably a huge reason why I'm not anxious anymore. I don't feel uneasy. I don't feel out of place in any situation anymore. I don't feel uneasy in big crowds. I don't feel the need to not be myself. And I guess that's what I was just trying to do this whole time, was that I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin, so I needed to be someone else. I needed to feel something else. But the funny thing is that after forcing myself to feel that way, I kind of enjoy it now. I like being uneasy. I like being the odd one out in the crowd. If that's what I need to be. I just like being me, is what I'm saying. So that's why I'm staying sober. I like who I am. I like what I've built. I like what I've crafted in my life. I like the people around me, and I don't want to betray all that hard work that I've done for myself. I don't want to go back, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Why do I continue to be sober? It's a good question. It's a hard question, and my answer probably it still and will change from day to day. But this is my answer. 1 year on, I look in the mirror and I like what I see now, and I'm ready to help other people. I'm ready to, I'm not ready. I can't half-ass it anymore. I can't not be me, I guess is what I'm saying. And like I said, I hadn't written anything down. I've been thinking about doing this for a long, probably for 6 months. And I've probably had 1,000 conversations in my own head, and it's not going to turn out how I want it to, but, it's real and authentic, and that's all I'm chasing. That's what this podcast is about being real and authentic and true to ourselves. And, the support that I get from everyone is just, it's unrivaled. No amount of alcohol and drugs can fill that, that hole anymore. There's, it's real life. It's hard to manage sometimes, but it's good. It's what I need. It's where I'm at right now, and I like the challenge. And guys, I didn't plan on this being real long and drawn out, so I'll probably end it somewhere along here, because I'm sort of running out of things to say, and I think I've gotten everything that I needed to say. So keep your ears out, keep your eyes peeled, because we've got some good things coming in the near future. We've got a sick new logo coming on the way, so you won't have to look at the. Oh, it's not shitty. It was good. A friend of mine that made it for us, so thanks very much, Lockie. But we want to get a new little characters made up, and then eventually we'll get an animated logo done. There'll be some changes coming to the podcast. We keep saying it for a long time, but we've been working hard behind the scenes to get things in place, and I'm super excited. I like where the podcast has been headed. I love the feedback we've been getting, and this all wouldn't be possible if I decided to put down the drink and the drugs. So, guys, if you've listened to the whole thing, thank you very much. It's the sort of something I've needed to get off my chest, and bring on the next day. Thanks again for listening, guys. Bye.